Okay, good morning, Professor Grace Lees-Maffei. Thank you so much for undertaking this interview with us for International Women's Day 2021. Grace is a Professor of Design History here at the University of Hertfordshire. You're very welcome. The first question is, what was your journey to working in academia?
Thank you, Martina, for inviting me. Well, I had a fairly straightforward path into academia in that I did my degrees while I was doing my MA. I started teaching here at Hertfordshire, and I did my PhD part-time while I was working here, which is not unknown in art and design. And so I have had curatorial posts outside of academia, but my academic career has been relatively unbroken. It's non-traditional, but it's simple in coming through.
Okay, thank you for that. And what barriers have you faced during your academic career so far?
Yeah, there have been quite a few barriers I've faced. You know, working part-time, working in a very small subject, gender has been a real barrier for me, for instance. And I think all the barriers I've faced can be collectively termed changing a culture. So as the first woman professor in my school, and still the only one, unfortunately, although I'm hoping that situation will change, I've had to really play the long game and change the culture around what a professor looks like in my area at work. And so that's involved keeping going, I guess.
Okay, and just a little bit more on that in terms of keeping going. How did you overcome some of these barriers that you faced?
I think the main strategy I used, although I didn't sit down and devise a strategy, it's in retrospect that I can recognise it, is to work outside the university, creating a profile through my subject association, the research council, editing the leading journal in my field, conferencing, networking, and working collaboratively in my research, which I've done to an unusual degree. So really strengthening my external profile eventually had a positive impact on my profile within the university, and I was able eventually to align those two.
Okay, thank you for that. And if with somebody starting in academia, what 3 tips would you give to those people starting?
I think the first tip is to be proactive rather than reactive. So whether it's a conference call, rather than waiting around for something to spark your interest, have a plan of things you want to say with your research and go and find opportunities in which you can say them. So firstly, be proactive. And part of that involves taking responsibility for your own career development. I think you need to make things happen and hustle and agitate and put yourself forward, all of which are things that, women particularly are enculturated not to do. So there's an extent to which you can do those things in a way that doesn't aggravate people, I guess. So that's a good balance. So putting yourself forward, being proactive is the first tip I would give. The second tip is to be consistent and reliable. People set a great deal of store by a safe pair of hands. So whether they're looking for someone for teaching or for collaborating in research or any task, they want to know that that person is going to deliver good work on time. So try to be consistent and reliable. And my third tip perhaps should be my first, which is to keep going, have determination, and have your goal in place and just keep on trying for it. I must say, though, that that wouldn't suit everybody. And I have seen colleagues leave academia very happily and productively. I just want to stress it's not one size fits all.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. That was a very good answer. Thank you for that. And then here in our school, with the based on the theme of International Women's Day, is to challenge inequality. We put together a challenge wall. So what challenge would you like to set for yourself and for others?
I think given that it's for International Women's Day and then gender is at the forefront, I think the challenge would be about facilitating women's voices. And the reason that I frame it in that way is because that encompasses a great deal of the work that we do in academia, whether it's our own voices through our publishing. I mean, one challenge for myself is just to keep writing, however difficult it is to find the circumstances and situation for that, just try to keep writing. So by doing that, I'm facilitating my own voice as a woman, but also to be mindful of facilitating other women's voices in all of the work that we do.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for undertaking this interview with us today, Professor Grace Lees-Maffei.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.